The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, Intentional Goal Setting, a Guide to Achieving Meaningful and Groundbreaking Results in Your Life, presented by WP alumna Sandy Choute. She's the WP class of 2015. My name is Sharon Ryan, and I'm the Assistant Director in the Alumni Office, and I'm very happy to welcome you all here tonight. As we said in the email, if you're like most people, you probably started off the new year with a resolution or two. And how are you doing with those? If there's something you want to achieve, the first thing you need to do is commit to it. Set goals that motivate you, write them down, make them feel tangible. Goal setting is a powerful process for thinking about your ideal future and for motivating yourself to turn your vision of this future into reality. So in this webinar, you're going to learn that the process of setting goals helps you to choose where you want to go in life. By knowing what you want to achieve, you know where you have to concentrate your efforts. So before I introduce today's presenter, I just want to go over how this webinar works for those of you who've not attended our webinars previously. First of all, you should be able to see the presentation right now on your computer screen. You also hopefully are hearing me talk through your computer's audio system. Please feel free to ask questions. You'll see on the side, there's a little dashboard and you can type in questions. I see somebody just wrote, I'm not sure if my audio is working. Should I be hearing any audio at this time? I'm going to type in, yes, they should. And we'll see what happens there. So you can put your questions in by typing them in. We are going to be monitoring your questions. We will most likely answer them at the end of the webinar, or if something is really, making you raise your hands, we'll do that in between. So any questions not answered in today's webinar will be addressed after the webinar is completed. So, once again, please feel free to type in. Oh, okay, good. This person is now hearing. Thank you. So now I want to introduce today's topic and speaker. Sandy Choute is the WP class of 2015. She's a VP segment analyst at Merrill Lynch, overseeing the strategy and business planning for 600 plus financial advisors within the firm. After spending nearly a decade in corporate finance, Sandy was fueled by her passion for personal development, and she built a private coaching practice to empower millennials with the necessary tools and strategies to enhance their lives. Sandy is also a certified life coach who helps millennial entrepreneurs and working professionals bridge the gap between where they are today and where they aspire to be. Through a combination of one-on-one coaching, video courses, workshops, and live discussion calls, Sandy helps clients do the necessary work to reprogram their limited belief systems in order to design a life that brings them true happiness and fulfillment. In her spare time, Sandy loves to travel with her husband, get together with family and friends, and immerse herself in self-development books and podcasts. And so now I would like to introduce our presenter, Sandy Choute. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Sharon, and good evening, everyone, and thank you all for joining. I am so thrilled to be hosting this webinar today with my Willie P family. William Patterson really played a critical role in my early development, and those college years really taught me a ton of valuable life lessons. So I'm just really grateful to be able to serve you all today and to give back to this community. Today, we are going to explore the power of intentional goal setting. As we go through this webinar, I encourage you all to take notes, write down the points that you find valuable. I also ask you to keep an open mind. I know some of these concepts may be a little different from things that you may have learned in the past, but you never know which strategy can drive the biggest change in your life. So just allow yourself to be open to it and try to be as receptive as you can. As we review things, you may have already heard some of these concepts before, but just try to listen with a different ear and see if any of these ideas resonate with you in a different way. My intention for this session is that each of you will walk away with a renewed perspective on goal setting, and that it will really help you expand the overall vision that you have for your life and just realize the limitless potential that you all have within you. So with that said, let us jump in. All right, so today we're going to dive into a variety of topics, including what it means for you to outline your life vision and understanding your big why and how it can fuel you. We'll also explore different goal setting techniques that you can implement, and we'll close out with some of the different techniques that you can use to stay on track with your goals. We have quite a bit of material to get through, so please just write down any questions that you have, and we will review each of them during the Q&A part of the session. All right, so to kick it off, I have a quick question for you all. I know it's that time of the year where many of us are setting different goals and New Year's resolutions for ourselves. But if you guys were to take a wild guess, what percentage of people do you think actually achieve their New Year's goals? Go ahead. I actually want to see your answers. So just take a second to type in some of the answers in the chat. And Sharon, if you don't mind, as some of them come in, can you just read out about 3 or 4 of those answers to me? I kind of want to gauge our audience here.
I sure will. They're coming in already. Less than
Okay.
10%, 25%, 10%, 3%, another 10%. Oh my gosh, 5%, 20, 25. Someone said they saw it today, 8%. Oh, one person says 0%.
Okay.
So
we got quite a mix.
One optimistic person said 40%. So there we go. But yeah, it's going anywhere between 0 and 20 with that optimistic 40% person. So
whoever that 40% is, good for you for being super optimistic. But I think majority of our group actually was right within range. So the correct answer is 8%. So whoever saw it today, you were right on the money there.
I'm going to say congratulations to Anne, Bertram, and the person who saw it today, which was, I'm sorry, that was Brittany.
So Anne and Brittany,
they all
both of them had it. Awesome. Anne and Brittany, you guys hit it right on the head. According to the University of Scranton, a whopping 92% of people who set New Year's goals never actually achieve them. That is an astonishing statistic when you think about it, because how many people do we know that set goals every single year? And to add more salt to the wound, the Journal of Clinical Psychology did a study that found that most people make the same New Year's resolution, wait for it, 10 times without success. When I first read this, I thought it was completely absurd until I asked myself, well, Sandy, how many repeat goals have you had over the past 5 years? And the first thing that came to mind for me was my swear jar. You know, that jar that you keep to penalize yourself by putting in $1 every time you swear. If you've got a potty mouth, then you probably know a little bit about the swear jar. But the truth is, you know, many of us are guilty of setting the same goal repeatedly because we struggle to achieve them. So right now, actually, I just want to make sure I'm in good company. You guys just type in the chat if there's any goal that you may have set more than once. I want to see how many other repeat offenders there are out there besides myself.
Let's see, who's a repeat offender? Oh, see, here comes the same one. Losing weight, weight loss, losing weight, well, exercising, saving money, new job. Oh, that's on everyone's thing. Exercise, weight loss, gym. Oh, wow. We see a trend here. And saving exercising, losing weight, and saving money are the top ones. Drinking more water, getting organized. Oh, reading the entire Bible.
That's one of my goals. Who said that?
That was cool. Thank you, Nicole.
Nicole. Yep, that is a repeat. That's literally between that, exercising, and my swear jar. Those are my 3 repeat goals that I've had quite often. But thank you guys for sharing that. Just, you know, it is something that we all struggle with. And oftentimes we don't realize how many times we're repeating the same goals. And I believe that the reason so many people struggle to achieve their goals is because they set goals sometimes based on what society says and trying to meet other people's standards rather than setting goals that align with who they truly want to become. How many of you have heard people say things like, I'm turning 40 or 50 this year, so I should have a house or be married, or I should be making X amount of dollars? We've all heard this at one point or another. I mean, I know I personally said it in the past as well. Now, while all of this sounds great and these goals are, you know, admirable, how much of that is really what they want to accomplish versus what they think they should have? The reason I believe traditional goal setting is broken is because many people strive to achieve certain things just so they can appear successful to others. But deep down inside, that may not be what they truly want. And that's why it's important to be intentional about the goals that we're setting, at the beginning of the year and just throughout life altogether. So intentional goal setting is about setting goals that brings you true happiness and fulfillment, and striving for things that align with the person that you aspire to become. So it's not what your family says or what your friends say you should be doing with your life, but rather it's really about you doing things that are in line with the vision that you have for yourself. A critical part of setting intentional goals is to identify the gap between where you are today and where you want to be in the future. When I work with my coaching clients, one of the first things I do is to help them identify where they want to be. And we do this by creating what I call a life vision for themselves. So today, before we jump into that, one of the most powerful tools that you can use in personal development is really visualization. Because in order to achieve any goal, you first have to be able to see it. So while we don't have the time to really do a full session of it today, I just wanted to take you guys on, a quick mental journey to help you create your life vision, or just a small version of it, I should say. So if you don't mind, I just want you guys to join me on a quick exercise. Get comfortable in whatever way puts you at ease. Take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and just close your eyes with me for a moment. While we're here, I want you to take a deep breath in, hold it, and just exhale. In this quiet state, I want you to just take a moment to visualize yourself walking down the beach on a sunny day. And as you're walking, you're just taking in the ocean breeze. I want you to imagine that it's 5 years from today. So it's January 16th, 2025. And at this point, every single one of your dreams have come true. As a matter of fact, you have surpassed all your dreams. So whatever your definition of success is, you're way past that now. And everything that you envisioned yourself having, you have surpassed all of that. And life is just great, and you are incredibly proud of yourself. Now, I want you to look at the person that you are in this 5-year version of yourself. What is the quality of life that you currently have? I want you to look within and see what kind of relationships do you currently have with your family and your friends? And what does your overall health and fitness look like? I want you to go a little deeper with me and see what is the mindset that you currently have around your money and your finances. What are some of the characteristics and the traits that you currently embody? Now, I'm not talking about, the materialistic things that you have, although you can visualize that as well. But at this stage, I really just want you to focus on the type of person that you are. What does this person look like? And what are some of the feelings that they have? What kind of impact are they having on the people around them? Do you like what you see? Just sit with that vision for a quick moment and just take it all in. Take it in, your 5-year future, the 5-year version of yourself. While you absorb it, I just want you to take a deep breath in, exhale, and slowly open your eyes when you're ready. Most of you should be in a somewhat relaxed state, but I just want you to take a quick moment and just write down a few things that you saw as you did the exercise. It doesn't have to be full sentences or long paragraphs. Just jot down some of the words to describe the person that you saw. Were they happy? Were they confident? Were they impactful? What do they look like? You know, just do a quick brain dump and just jot down some of the words that you saw and that you can use to describe the person that you saw. If you allowed yourself to go deep in this visualization, you probably saw a very clear image of yourself. And if you answered these introspective questions, you got a glimpse of what your future best self can look like. That's why this step is so critical, because you have to be able to see who you want to become in order to set goals to help you get there. And once you understand and know where you want to be, you can then evaluate where you currently are in comparison to that, and then identify the areas that you know that you need to change and improve in order to get closer to that vision. When I do this work, I typically encourage my clients to, write down maybe 4 to 5 different areas in their lives that they want to improve. So here I'm showing quite a few different categories. It can literally be a goal in your health and fitness, in your finances, a goal in your spiritual life, or a goal that you set for the relationships that you have with people in your life. The key, though, is that all your goals should align with that vision that you've written down. So think of your North Star think of your life vision as a North Star, right? It's the main guide and compass that you have. And all the goals that you set in all these different categories lead up to your North Star. There should be no resistance between the goals that you set in different areas of your life, because each goal represents a different piece of that total puzzle. They all add up to the big picture of who you want to become. So once you have, the 5 different categories written down, I need you to just choose one area that you want to start working on. Now, I know many of us like to believe that we can change many different aspects of our lives simultaneously. But honestly, guys, the truth is you will get the best results when you focus on one specific area in your life, conquer that, and then move on to the next. But you get to decide whatever area you feel the most drawn to and whatever area that you have the deepest desire to change, and you start there. So going back to that life vision, depending on what you saw, you know what that image was, you know what kind of life that person was living, you understand the characteristics that they embodied. You can look at your life now and say, all right, where am I the furthest from this image that I saw and this vision that I saw of myself? And you start there. Honestly, once you start doing that work in one category, improving on that and accomplishing your goal there, it makes it a lot easier to transition and to evolve into different areas of your life, because you've already laid the groundwork for, accomplishing the goal in that one specific area. So once you choose the area that you want to focus on, the next step is to write down your why. And it's not just about what you want to accomplish, but really why you need to accomplish the goal. And it's important for you to hang it somewhere that you can see it every day. I like to make the joke that when you walk into my bedroom, there are Post-it notes and signs all over the place. And it looks like I'm a mad woman. I appreciate my husband for tolerating me, but I make sure that my goals are absolutely visible every single day. And when I roll out of bed and before I get back into bed, I see my goals every day. And even while I'm sleeping, I like to say my subconscious mind is working on those goals for me because it's so top of mind for me. Writing down your why honestly should be relatively easy if you invested the time in doing that visualization exercise and writing down your life vision. Guys, in order for you to achieve any goal, you have to have a big enough why that will keep you going even when you don't feel like it. And that's why it's important for you to pinpoint why this goal is important to you. So ask yourself, what difference will this make in your life if you accomplish it? Why do you want this goal? How will it impact you emotionally, physically, psychologically, and even financially? Who else will be positively impacted by you accomplishing that goal? It's important for you to ask these questions so that you can get to the root of the reason why you want it. And I always say, for every why that you come up with, I want you to dig deeper. Because typically the why that we come up with is very surface. And until you dig deeper and keep saying, but why? But why? Why is that important? Why do I want that? You don't get to the root answer by just staying with that first why that usually pops out. So for example, if I picked health and fitness as my goal, and I said I wanted to lose 30 pounds this year, my why could start off with, well, because I want to look good. But going deeper would say, well, all right, why is that, Sandy? Outside of looking good, why else do you want it? And I'd probably say, all right, well, because I want to be healthier and happier. Okay, and why do you want that? Then going even deeper for me would be, so, all right, so because the 5-year version of myself that I saw was traveling the world and hosting seminars on stages for hours at a time. So in order for me to be that person, I need to become healthy and fit in order to be able to physically do that. Now, can you see how that why is so much bigger and can be such a strong driving factor rather than me just saying, I want to lose weight because I want to look good? Remember, purpose fuels persistence, and your reasons will always come before your results. So when you identify your why and you see it every day, it keeps that burning desire in your heart, and it makes it a lot easier for you to stay on track and stay motivated towards your goals. Now, another area that is a huge focus for me when I work with my clients is understanding their mindset. Unfortunately, we don't have time to go really deep into this, but I do find that most people have a very limited mindset when it comes to their goals. So when they write down their life vision, although, it sounds great and it looks amazing, they don't actually believe that they can accomplish those things. And sometimes that limited mindset even blocks them from being able to see an improved version of themselves while they're doing the life visioning exercise. So if you went through this and you had trouble maybe even seeing a better version of yourself or envisioning something like that, you may very well be in a limited mindset and have a limited, vision of yourself. And that is something that really requires a lot of deep work. So, we can talk about that offline, but it's important for you to be able to have a growth mindset about your goals. Because let me tell you this, no matter how amazing your goals are, if you don't have a growth mindset that assures you that you are fully capable and worthy of achieving those things, you're practically setting yourself up for failure. I've heard it said before that your dreams happen twice, first in your mind and then in your reality. So if you can't see it and if you can't believe it, then it'll be really hard for you to actually achieve those things. So if you struggle with this, I would really recommend, you working with a coach or someone to help you improve your overall mindset that you have.
Sandy,
Yeah.
I just want to bring something up. Somebody wrote a little question in here saying, once they find out their purpose to achieve their goal, what's the next step? And it's kind of like what you just said, that would be the next step, figuring out what your mindset is, going past it. So I think you're going through the steps now, right?
Yep, exactly. That's exactly where we are. First, it's finding out your purpose. Who am I? What do I want? And then we go through the different steps of how to set your goals and really just your mindset around who you are and what your purpose is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. No, that was a great question. So now that, you've done some of the internal work and now that you know what your why is, it's time for you to do what I like to call my 3D checklist, right? The first D is desire. Do you know what you want? By now, that answer should be yes. Your next D is for drive. Do you know why you want it? We just did the work to identify the why, so you should be set there as well. And lastly, the final D is your do. What do you have to do in order to accomplish that goal? I love using this checklist because if you're setting any goal and it doesn't pass that 3D checklist, I always say stop what you're doing, go back and repeat the previous steps until you can clearly define what your 3Ds are. Guys, being clear on your goal is absolutely critical to you accomplishing them. So you can't be vague. If you don't know what you're working towards, you're not getting anywhere. So it's really important for you to, implement kind of this 3D checklist and try to use it as a touch base for you every time you are setting a goal. So now that we have talked about some of the groundwork that goes into creating meaningful goals and understanding exactly why we want certain things, we can now dive into the strategy of setting effective goals. Now, before we jump in, I like to say, that first part, which is what I call the internal work and the groundwork, is probably the most important part of setting any goals. The strategies are great and you can implement them, but if you don't have that deep purpose and drive and meaning behind why you want that goal, the rest of this is completely irrelevant. So please, I know a lot of it is somewhat vague and isn't, the conventional way of setting goals, but do not overlook the work that and the value in doing that work to identify your life vision and your purpose and who you want to become prior to, implementing the goals and starting to set them and working towards them. I hope that makes sense to you guys.
Yes.
All right, so let's jump into the fun stuff. So when setting a goal, a simple yet effective way of doing so is to follow the SMART model. And you guys have probably seen the SMART model in many different industries and many different facets. I love it because it's one of those things that can be used interchangeably, but it's always really relevant whenever I see it. So the S in the SMART model stands for specific. Your goals should be as clear and specific as possible. So what is your goal? How often or how much? Where will it take place? The M is for measurable. Excuse me. How will you measure your progress? Measurement will give you specific feedback and hold you accountable. And then is your goal achievable? Your goal should push you, but it's also important to make sure that it's attainable. So can it be done? The R stands for realistic. Is the goal and the time frame that you have set for yourself realistic for you? It's important because achievable says, can it be done? But realistic says, are you capable of doing it? Very important distinction to have, and make sure that you're not setting yourself up for failure by setting goals that are too abstract or goals that are completely beyond your physical and your physical capabilities, essentially. And last but not least, time bound. Do you have a specific time frame within which you want to accomplish this goal? I always say, can you circle a date on your calendar that serves as the deadline for you to accomplish your goal? And we're going to talk about this a little bit more, but if your goal if you don't have a date that you are using to measure your goal, you're not on the right path. You have to know when I want to do this by. And sometimes that date may change, but I think starting out, it's really important for you to say, I want this by this date. It just creates a different sort of sense of urgency for you. In addition to your SMART model, you also want to set what I call macro and micro goals. So your macro goal represents the large goal that you're trying to accomplish. So for example, I want to lose 50 pounds by the end of this year. That's your big overarching goal. The micro goals now are the small steps that I need to take in order to accomplish my big goal, my macro goal. So in this example, in order for me to lose 50 pounds in 12 months, my micro goal would be, let's say I need to lose 4 pounds each month, which means 1 pound a week. So essentially what you're doing is chunking down that big goal into smaller steps that you can take. Now, the point in doing this, and I see so many of my clients come out with, they have this big audacious goal. And if you know me, I am constantly an advocate for dreaming bigger. And I like to say, what is your impossible goal, right? Stretch yourself as much as possible. But oftentimes where you are today seems so far from where you aspire to be that the mere thought of it can become discouraging to you. So yeah, you may have a goal of becoming a millionaire, but if you're $50,000 in debt right now, sometimes it's a bit of a stretch, right? So the point of doing this is to have micro goals that enable you to take smaller steps that are more digestible to you. But when they're repeated, they essentially get you closer to your ultimate goal. I always say, think back to when you were in college and your professors asked you to write, a 50 or 100-page paper, right? At first glance, if you were like me, I was like, there is no way I'm getting this done. It seems insurmountable. But what if they told you, all right, I need you guys to write 10 pages every 2 weeks. And then you came back, in 2 weeks and they said, all right, write another 10 pages. And over the course of the semester, you wrote essentially 10 pages every 2 weeks. Before you realize it, you would have your 50 pages. And all of a sudden, that goal doesn't seem as intimidating anymore because it was chunked down and broke down into small bite-sized pieces. So a few examples of micro and macro goals. So this first gentleman here that's having this intense workout has a health and fitness goal of losing 50 pounds. So that is the macro goal. Some of his micro goals could be to exercise 5 times a week or to cut out soda and junk food, out of his diet. The young lady in the middle has a finance goal of saving 50,000 this year. Some of her micro goals to lead up to that macro goal would be to create an additional source of income and maybe stop eating out at restaurants so she can save more money towards that goal. And finally, this gentleman on the end in this really nice suit has a relationship goal of finding love. So that's the macro goal. Some of your micro goals leading up to that would be maybe to create an online dating profile or go on dates every week or stop talking to that toxic ex-girlfriend or boyfriend of yours. Nope, that's besides the point. But can you guys see how you can have a macro goal that serves as the vision for you, but always kind of have smaller micro goals that lead up to the steps that you need to take for yourself? All right. So one thing that I want to emphasize is that once you've identified what your goals are, macro versus micro, it is absolutely critical that you write them down and make sure that they're visible once again, so that you never lose sight of it. Dr. Gail Matthews, a professor of psychology, did a study on goal setting, and he found that human beings are 42% more likely to achieve our goals if we simply write them down. Guys, just writing your goals down will get you 42% of the way there. So you cannot undermine this step. It is critical. There are so many scientific studies that back this concept of writing down the things that you want and seeing them. And, I don't want to go on my soapbox here, but we can definitely dive into that a little bit later. But there's tremendous power in writing down the goals that you have set for yourself.
Sandy, hi, it's
Yes.
Sharon. I just wanted to say 2 things, if you don't mind. One person wrote in, how do you stay motivated? And what you've been doing now is showing like all these ways, write down your goals. You'll have a 42% chance of meeting, or your micro goals. So these are all great ways to stay motivated with your macro goal. So
exactly.
And I just have to mention one comment that came in. Someone wrote, "Good luck with online dating, dude. It's a rough world out there," about the guy who put his goal to get a relationship. I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you, Kimberly.
Right, that's a great comment. So maybe you adjust your goal. Maybe not, online dating. Maybe go out on more dates. Listen, whatever works for you, right? The point is to get you to that macro goal of finding love. I love that comment.
Yeah, that was a good comment. I'm sorry.
No worries. So the next step, once you've written down these goals, is really for you to create an action plan that outlines the milestones that you need to achieve in order to get you closer to that end goal. So that's where, your micro goals come into play, because they lead up to the overall macro goal that you have. So looking at your yearly goal, which is that, larger overarching goal, and just walk that backwards by quarterly, monthly, weekly, and down to your daily steps. And if you ever feel lost while working on your action plan, and I know I've experienced this, right? You have this huge, robust action plan, and every now and then you wake up and you're like, okay, so where do I want to start? What do I want to do today? And this is where, the challenge with working on multiple different areas in your life can come in, because sometimes it can be a little confusing because you've got a health goal, you've got a financial goal, you've got a spiritual goal. A lot of these can sometimes derail you and overwhelm you a bit. So, a technique that I use, it's a technique, is really to encourage people to ask what I call the focusing question. Now, this was introduced in one of my favorite books. It's The One Thing by Gary Keller and I think Jay Papasan. If you guys have ever read that, give me a thumbs up. I love The One Thing. But in that book, he talks about a focus and question, which really says, what is the one thing that you can do, and I like to say right now, such that by doing it, everything else will become easier or unnecessary? No matter what you're working, and let me read that again. What is the one thing that you can do such that by doing it, everything else will become easier or unnecessary? Regardless of what you're working on, this question will always clarify the most important thing that you need to do at this very moment. I use this so much, especially when, I'm working on my business and I have, goals at work and I have things that I'm working on simultaneously. I literally take a step back and say, all right, what's my MIT? What's my most important thing? What is the one thing that I can do that will make everything else easier or unnecessary? This is such a powerful question, guys. And as you go through your goals, it's really important for you to be able to leverage things like this and just have it serve as a reminder for you to keep your eye on the ball and do the things that have the greatest impact towards your end goal. So another step here. So once you have your daily and weekly tasks written down, it's very important that you schedule it on a calendar or a planner. This helps you stay really organized and serves as a reminder of the things that you need to do for yourself. I always say to my clients, and I alluded to this earlier, if you're not scheduling your dreams, I'm sorry to say, they're not happening. I know it sounds harsh, but that's really just the truth of the matter. So, if any of you have a goal of, let's say, starting a business, right? And I ask you today, what do you have scheduled for your business next Tuesday? If you can't look on your calendar and tell me what activity you have scheduled next Tuesday for your business or for any goal that you've set for yourself, you're not really that serious about accomplishing your goal. Now, I know that seems dramatic and I know that seems extreme, but guys, that's the level of seriousness that you have to have when you're working towards changing your life and really creating a life vision for yourself. See, when you're chasing goals that aren't really fulfilling or meaningful to you, you can have somewhat of a, relaxed attitude about it. When you're chasing your life vision, the person that you see yourself becoming, that person that's going to make an impact in the world and on your family and friends, there's a different level of seriousness and focus that you attack your goals with. And that's why it's really important to make sure that you have, all of your activities and actions scheduled so you know exactly what you're doing every single day when you wake up. Now, another thing I want you guys to remember, and this has served me tremendously, is that, when you're on the path to accomplishing a goal, one thing is certain, and that is that you will face some setbacks. I don't care what you're doing, who you are, where you live, you cannot escape setbacks that happen in life. It's just the way of life. And more than likely, something can and will probably go wrong at one point or another. But these things don't have to stop or set you back if you properly plan for them. So after you write your goals and your action plan down, ask yourself, what could potentially happen to derail this plan? Guys, this is so powerful because if your goal, so let's say your goal is to lose weight, a potential setback may be, passing McDonald's on my way home or coming up with an excuse not to exercise. I know I'm guilty of the excuse part. But when you anticipate these potential setbacks, you can solve for it even before it happens. So maybe you decide to take a different way home from work so that you're not even tempted to see the McDonald's on your way. Or you pack a gym bag to work so that you don't have to come home and then dread getting back out because it's cold and, whatever other excuses that you come up with. This is such a powerful piece of this because if you're anticipating your setbacks in advance and you're solving for them, the minute that thought comes in mind, you've already got a rebuttal for it. So it's almost like training your mind to respond to your excuses and to your limited ways and really implementing things that will set you up for success ultimately. Now, this is one of my favorite parts of this. While you are chipping away at your goals, it's important for you to celebrate yourself. It doesn't matter how big or small of a task it was. For example, if you had a goal to stop smoking and you were able to go one day without smoking, hey, celebrate yourself for that. I encourage my clients to do what I call a ta-da list. So we don't do to-do lists, we do ta-da lists. Every time you accomplish something that you set out to do, check it off and say, ta-da. I know it sounds silly and probably really cheesy. Don't judge me, you guys. But it's important for you to celebrate yourself because your brain remembers that gratifying feeling that you're experiencing when you celebrate yourself. And where this comes into play is that the next time you are challenging yourself to do something difficult, your brain will reinforce the idea that success has rewards and that when you do challenging things and you accomplish it, you have different rewards and it'll push you to keep reaching for more accomplishments. Remember, what gets celebrated gets repeated. So listen, give yourself all the kudos while you're here and whenever you earn them. Oftentimes I like to say, we're the first ones to celebrate other people and cheer them on when they do something. Think about a child who's learning how to walk and, even when they fall, they get back up. You still clap for them like, yay, you're doing it. But we lose sight of that when it comes to ourselves because we don't extend that same grace to ourselves and we don't encourage ourselves as much as we do other people. And that's something that I really believe that we all need to work on. I know I'm definitely guilty of this as well. So the next step here is, to find an accountability partner. An important key to your success when trying to accomplish your goals is to have someone outside of yourself to hold you accountable to the person that you are trying to become. Guys, you're more likely to accomplish your goals when there's someone else that you have to answer to for your actions and your results. A person who can, keep you on track and keep you honest with yourself. So this can be, a mentor that you have, a life coach, or anyone else that can hold you accountable. But I would caution you guys. I know a lot of people, have friends as accountability partners, and that's great. But just be careful when you're choosing friends as an accountability partner because this person needs to be heavily invested in you and in your success. And this should be also someone who won't let you off the hook easily. So if I have a friend as an accountability partner and, they asked me, hey, did you work out today? And I was like, oh, no, I didn't. It was too cold out. And they were like, oh, okay, well, make sure you go tomorrow. That is not an accountability partner. An accountability partner is someone who can call you out on your BS and, will help you track your goals and someone who just makes sure that you are on track to do what you're supposed to do. An effective accountability can, uncover your blind spots and they can be a sounding board for you when you run into challenges. But they're really someone who holds you to a higher standard of yourself and really pushes you to constantly kind of stand on your tippy toes, as I like to say. Guys, studies have shown that having an accountability partner increases your likelihood of accomplishing any goal by 65%. That alone shows you why this step is so important because when you have someone else, and I always say someone outside of you and something bigger than you, it just drives you to do better and to really make sure that you crush your goals there. And next, this is simple, but I want you to remember to be patient. Guys, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will your goals. So I know we live in a microwavable society where everyone wants instant success and overnight results. But it's important for you to be patient and honor the journey of working towards your goals. See, it's not just the end result that matters, but the true glory is in the person that you become and the skills and characteristics that you acquire while you're in this process of working towards your goal. The beauty is truly in the process. And remember that anything worth having is worth working for. So, be gracious with yourself and be patient as you go through the process. But try to enjoy it because the highlight isn't just when you get to the end goal. The highlight is really that skill and those muscles, those mental and physical and spiritual muscles that you build on your journey towards accomplishing your goals. And finally, I want you guys to remember that what you do today determines the life that you will live tomorrow. Do the work now and do the work now to help you transform into the best version of yourselves. Guys, I truly believe that each and every one of you has greatness within you, and you are capable of doing anything that you put your mind to. Success, we lose sight of this, but success is your birthright, and it is available to each and every one of us. So just do the necessary work, put in the time to make this year the best year that you've ever had. Matter of fact, nope, make this the best decade of your life. You are so capable. You have everything that you need within you to accomplish your dreams and your goals. But you've got to be willing to do the work. It's not going to come easily to you. So I hope this was helpful and valuable to you. I know we have about 15 minutes. I definitely wanted to leave some room for a Q&A here, but I just want to take a moment and thank you guys so much for allowing me to serve you today. I hope that you walked away with at least one thing that you can implement in your life. Here's my contact information if you want to go deeper with my work, or if you have any follow-up questions that you want us to dive into. But once again, thank you guys. I hope you saw some value in this. And I think we can open this up for Q&As now. I try to make sure we have enough room for this.
Yes, we do have questions. So first of all, a lot of people are saying thank you, that they're glad they set aside time to come. And it's very informative. But here are some questions. One person asked about an accountability partner. Would you consider that person to be the same as a mentor?
Exactly. Your mentor could very well be an accountability partner. A mentor is someone who has either done what you're looking to do or has accomplished something that you admire, and someone who is almost at a different level than you, right? So having a mentor is a great accountability partner, because once you express your goals to your mentor and tell them this is what I'm trying to accomplish, an effective mentor will start holding you to that standard, and they'll follow up with you and they'll ask you, hey, have you done this thing that you wanted to do? And, sometimes you have to outright say that to them. Like, listen, I know, you've helped me in a lot of things. I just want you to be my accountability partner as I embark on the journey to accomplish this goal. It makes a world of a difference when you say that to somebody, because it gives them a different level of importance, and it also gives them a different level of commitment that they now have to you because you call them your accountability partner. So I think mentors are great accountability partners if you have some.
And when people say mentor, a lot of time they just think about business, like maybe starting a business. But a mentor could be, if you wanted to lose weight, maybe somebody who has lost the weight, and they can be your mentor in that way too, right?
Exactly. I like to say I have a mentor in every aspect of my life. So literally, I have a mentor at work, I have a mentor in business, I have a mentor that I talk to for, spiritual guidance, I have a mentor when it comes to my physical health. You can't have enough. As long as you have someone that serves as a guide for you and that you can look to for additional counsel and insight, mentors are amazing resources to have.
And another question about an accountability partner: would a person's therapist be a good accountability partner?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think a therapist is a great accountability partner, especially because they're professional, right? Their job is to help you evolve into the best version of yourself and deal with certain things that you have to. So when when you tell them, like, listen, this is a goal that I'm trying to work towards, your therapist should be able to guide you. Now, the only caveat there is the almost the accessibility that you have to your therapist, right? So not every therapist is on call and you can just shoot them a text message. So sometimes that can be a little challenging. But if you have a really good relationship with them and you can, reach out to them as needed, they can really be a great accountability partner.
Great. Okay, now here's some goal questions. Is it mandatory to express your goal to someone else?
That's a good one. That is a good one. Because I don't necessarily think you have to express it. So let's take a step back. I think it's important for you to obviously write down your goal and say it out loud and see it. But when we talk about having an accountability partner, they need to know what your goal is in order for them to hold you accountable to it. But if you're just telling people your goals just to tell them, I don't think it's necessary to express that to them, unless you have the intention of having that person hold you accountable or guide you as you're on the journey to accomplishing your goal. you've got to be very cautious about sharing certain goals with people because, we talked about that limited and growth mindset. If you share your goal with someone who has more of a limited mindset and doesn't have that expansive, idea of you, sometimes people can talk you out of your goals, right? So you've got to be cautious about who you share your goal with and make sure that it's someone that, will serve you in that journey of accomplishing that goal and not just someone who's going to be, a naysayer or a negative Nancy or so on and so forth.
Now, does it make sense to focus on one goal, have success, and then move to another goal?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Now I know people will argue me tooth and nail, especially for my multitaskers out there. But having, especially, it depends on where you are in your personal development. But most people see the highest level of success when they focus on one thing. It's really that laser focus and having that congruency in what you're looking to accomplish and achieving that goal and moving on to other things. But I will say this is something that I see happen with a lot of my clients who, become really effective at accomplishing their goals. So you set one goal, you work towards it, you achieve it, and you set the next and you work towards it and you achieve it. As you repeat this process, like anything else in life, you become really good at it. And all of a sudden you start seeing that although you're working towards, your goal and your finances, all of a sudden there's a spillover into your health, into your fitness, into your spirituality, because you've really mastered the art of being effective in what you're working towards and really building back to that life vision of yourself that every now and then you'll start seeing it bleed into different areas of your life that you didn't originally even set out to do. But I think starting out, it's absolutely critical that you work on one goal, conquer it, and then move on into the next.
Okay. I'm going to do this in a three-part because they're coming in like crazy questions. But one attendee, Kelly, mentioned that vision boards help with your macro and micro goals. And then another person asked, would you recommend a vision board? And this person has tried to start one several times. And so they want to know your opinion. But additionally to that, I want to ask you about someone said, how do you manage your fears when on a journey to accomplish your goal? It doesn't have to do with mindset. So let's talk about vision boards and then maybe about managing your fears.
Yes, that fear question. I love that. But yeah, starting with the vision board. I absolutely think it's important and so helpful to have vision boards. I think you have to know the kind of person you are and the kind of learner and what motivates you, right? Some of us are kinesthetic learners, some of us are visual learners. And if you're a visual person, I think vision boards are so critical for you. I will share a personal example without being too long-winded. I know we're almost up on time, but vision boards, I create a vision board every year. Last year, I had a vision board and I had a picture of me sitting on a stage at Essence Fest with Essence Magazine. And I had Essence Magazine listed on my vision board. In the middle of the year, literally not even a year in, my husband and I went on vacation and we were featured in Essence Magazine. Now, call it what you want, woo-woo, whatever. I saw that image of myself every single day. And even when I wasn't paying attention, subconsciously, those things were kind of transpiring here for me. So I think vision boards are so critical. In terms of how to create your vision board, that's where that life vision comes in, right? So don't start just throwing things on your vision board just because they look good. Do that visualization exercise that you did with your life vision. See what that picture looks like, and then start creating a board that aligns with what you saw. When you see that, guys, I think, vision boards are really, really powerful, and you will be shocked at what you can manifest as a result of seeing something every single day and really a vision of yourself. Now, I hope that answers that. To go into the fear question, fear is such a critical thing that we all deal with. Show me a person who doesn't have fear, and I will say they are a liar, because everybody deals with fear. Now, my personal definition for fear, that I don't even know who said it at this point, but someone said it, is really fear is false evidence appearing real. Fear is really you just projecting things into the future of what you think will happen, what you think will happen. You have no proof that this will actually, unfold the way that you're imagining it. But that's what we build our fears around, what we think will happen in the future. it has everything to do with mindset. So you were right on, right on target with that. Your mindset really sets the framework and the foundation for the kind of fears that you have. So oftentimes, and I do a lot of work with fear setting with my clients, where we really work on understanding what their fears are, looking them in the face, and doing life with them. I am not one to say, try to eliminate all your fears. That's not realistic. But what I live by is do it afraid. No matter what it is that you're trying to accomplish in life, where you're trying to go in life, you will have some fears, but you have to be able to do it with your fears anyway, and also do the framework and the internal work that helps you minimize those fears a little bit, right, and debunk some of them. But you have to be willing to do it afraid. So yes, it is a mindset thing, and I'm definitely happy to kind of go deeper with you on that if you'd like to.
Okay, we're getting so close, but there's three more things I want to bring up because I see all these questions. Someone wanted to know what was the phrase you used about fueling purpose. Fueling purpose. Do you remember what that was about?
Was it reasons drive your results? Is that what we're referring to?
You know what? I'm going to see if they write back in and say if that's what they meant. If this person is still here, but so we'll wait and see. But yes, that's the part.
Yep. Your big why.
So that he wants to know if you can explain what you used. Is that right? Was that the answer?
Yeah, so that's really talking about, having a big why and everything that you're doing. Okay. And was it purpose fuels persistence, right?
Yes, I believe so.
I think that's what yeah. So it's your purpose, whatever your why is, will drive your actions. If it's a big enough why, it'll push you to act on something, to, overcome obstacles, right? When something's not important enough for you, the very first challenge that you experience, you're pretty much like, oh, okay, well, that didn't work, that's it. But if you've got a really big why, and if you've got that really big purpose, you have a little bit more tenacity and persistence towards the things that you're trying to accomplish. And you don't just let yourself off the hook that easily. So that's really kind of the background work around that.
Okay, I'm going to two more, and that's it. Okay. So you talked about being with accountability partners and vision boards, and so many people are saying, how do you stay motivated? And I think those are some of the ways, but if you can maybe expand just a tiny bit on it. And then there's one more question I want to ask you. And
Sure. So staying motivated goes back to your why. If you know your why and it's big enough, you have to remember that every time. So yeah, sometimes when we set a goal, we're fired up, we've got this big drive and adrenaline in us, and we set these huge audacious goals. And about a week later, it fizzles out. Whatever thought process you had and whatever state you were in when you made that goal, you need to be able to do the work to put yourself back in that state, or tap back into that reason that drove you to drive to set that goal, and try to relive that as much as possible and do different things. And that's why you said it perfectly, Sharon. The vision boards, the written goals that you see, those are the things that will continue to drive you and keep you motivated. And what I like to say too is ask yourself, what is it going to cost me? What is it going to cost me if I don't accomplish this goal? What is it going to cost me if I let myself off the hook too easily? What am I going to lose out on? That question usually leads back to your why and you missing out on your why. And if that doesn't drive you, then maybe it's time to kind of reevaluate that why a little bit and try to refine it a bit more for yourself.
Great. I'm just going to say right now, people are asking, this presentation will be shared. We have a YouTube channel. It's being recorded right now. So tomorrow I will be sending out a link to everybody so you can view it again, you can listen to it again. And I believe Sandy is going to share her deck with everybody. So we will send that all out to everybody here. But with that, I have one more thing that people are asking Sandy. In the beginning, you said that, in your bio that you like personal development podcasts and books, and people are kind of asking if you have any top personal development podcasts and books that you really enjoy that you could share.
Oh my gosh, literally, I can send you guys a book on it. But yes, I indulge in so many different podcasts. Some of the people that I follow, obviously most of you probably know Tony Robbins, Lisa Nichols is a big influence of mine. Les Brown is probably one of the biggest influences of mine in terms of just motivational speakers. A podcast that I really love is one by Marie Forleo. And her book is one that I finished reading recently, which is Everything is Figure Outable. I love this book. I live by a lot of the concepts in it. And just as a life coach, it just speaks to my heart. So that is something that I really love. The One Thing is a book that is huge for me. It's been really, really monumental for me. Books. I love Tim Ferriss. So his book, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Tools of Titans is something that I really enjoy too. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I mean, personal development. I'm a bit of a personal development junkie. So those are some of the books. And if you guys kind of want more, we can definitely, reach out to me on social media or, via email. And depending on what you're going through, I find that certain books are more relevant for you. So if you have some, challenges that you're facing right now and you want me to recommend a book, I'll be happy to do that for you.
Great. So it is 8:31. So we're going to end. If there were any questions that were not answered, you're going to get a little survey after you sign off on here. And you can just you put your question in there, and I'm sure Sandy will be happy to answer them. Here's her information on here. You can send her an email if you want to do any kind of follow up with her. She'll be happy to talk to you. And thank you, Sandy, for doing this. It was really inspirational. I think a lot of people liked it. So I know everybody liked it, and it was very, very well attended. So thank you all for showing up, for attending. And like I said, tomorrow we will send you an email with the link so you can view it again, listen to it, any part you may have missed, the questions, whatever. And again, thank you, Sandy. Maybe you can send your books and podcasts too that you like.
Yeah, listen, I may be starting a podcast sometime this year. So guys, just follow me on social media. I will keep you updated on that. But thank you so much for having me today. Thank you for your time, Sharon. You are a godsend. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And you guys stay in touch.
And somebody just said they needed this to start the new decade. So congratulations. We all started the new decade in a really positive way.
This is your best decade yet, guys. Let's do it.
Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you for the next webinar. Thank you, Sandy.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.